What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to do something for my old schoolers out there. I wanted to play something that we don't often get a chance to hear nowadays. Unless you're at a more traditional church, these types of songs we don't really get the opportunity to hear. So I want to use this opportunity to play a few of these old school feeling things for my subscribers, so to speak. So we'll jump right into it. So I'm going to play this song called At the Cross here, and we'll talk a little bit more about this at the end, so make sure you hang all the way around to the end of this video to see how this could benefit you. All right, here we go. See, that could go on all day long. It's one of them songs. I think it's funny. You get older and you'll start to appreciate a lot of the music that you grew up listening to. Like for me, that's the old hymns. We grew up listening to At the Cross. And as a kid, it's like, oh man, we singing this song again. But as you get older, you start to think about the lyrics and you start to reflect on what that stuff, was really saying and what it's still saying to this day. And it has a different connotation to it for you. So if you haven't heard this type of music, you hadn't heard hymns, I encourage you to, go and look up hymns, gospel hymns or Christian hymns, that kind of thing. But in this, what I've done with this, and I just really wanted to play this stuff today and just let you hear it. But I've also created a course for this where you can, if you want to jam to this stuff, there's a jam-packed version of this where you can get this and 5 other tracks. It's actually part of my Hymns and Spiritual Songs Volume 2 that I've done, where we have 6 hymns that you can play and jam to. For those of you who read music, there's the sheet music there. For those of you who use tab, there is the tab there. And for those of you who need the instruction, I had somebody the other day, they actually had purchased this and they purchased the jam pack and they were, I guess, trying to jam to it. And it was like, I don't read music or tab or anything like that. They wanted to know, did I have somewhere where I was teaching it? So yeah, I do have an instructional where I break down and show you how to play these things. Maybe you're somebody who just picked up the bass and you're just getting into this stuff. You grew up listening to it and always wanted to play it but never knew how to play it. Well, I did instructional videos on both hymns 1 and hymns 2 where I'm breaking it down and showing you how to play this stuff step by step, how to navigate through it, how to get through it. I do use the number system when I'm teaching these things. And then, it's just one of those things, like if you ever hear it come up in church and you're a bass player there in church, you don't know how to play this stuff. Now you have some way to go through it. And it might be like me. You might just want to sit down and just jam and rock out to this stuff that you heard growing up. But nowadays you don't hear it played as much. So this gives you an opportunity with the jam packs to just rock out to it, have fun to it, and just play to a lot of these old tunes. Here's another one that might be familiar right here. We'll play this one. I think I remember the key that this is in. Yes, see. Old school. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Again, that's another old school joint that, I can appreciate now that I'm older. One of those songs, I like the up-tempo stuff that felt good back in the day that, you can get right into it. My mom used to sing a song, can you feel the fire burning? She was like, can you feel the fire burning? I didn't play it like that. Can you feel the fire burning? Like, it's like old school church. I would like more stuff on that kind of feel, that it was kind of up and fiery, because I didn't really understand the slower stuff growing up and how it affected the service. But now, again, growing and developing more of a palate for music, the more stuff you learn, it's like you come back to the roots of what you did when you were growing up. Like, case in point, and we going down memory lane here. I remember moving to Atlanta, and I was a guitar player. And this was like 2006, 2007, somewhere in there. So I moved here, and I played guitar and bass. I played little keys. I didn't claim keys. Nobody knew I could play keys and drum when I moved to Atlanta. I ain't telling nobody that. So I'm playing guitar and I'm getting a lot of calls for guitar. And I noticed for me, I would shy away from playing a lot of quartet stuff because I didn't want people to box me in and think that's all I knew how to play. It was silly, but I didn't know that quartet guitar was as valued as it actually is at the time, because there was a negative connotation when people would say stuff, oh, he plays quartet. It's like, it was never said in a light where you thought, oh, that's a good thing that I know how to play quartet. Until I later understood how my quartet roots in guitar could affect music and how people was like actually looking for that sound. I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was a negative connotation. But again, the older you get, the more refined your palate becomes as it pertains to music. You start to understand that all of the things that's part of your culture, part of where you come from in terms of what you grew up hearing, listening to, learning, all those things are relevant in you to develop your sound. So I would encourage you guys, man, if you grew up in old school church, but everything is more modern now, I would figure out ways to pull that old school stuff back into your playing, because that's part of your sound. It's part of your unique fingerprint. It's like, you go to school, go to college and that kind of thing, and they teach you to speak, I ain't gonna say college necessarily, but you get around more people who are from different parts of the world, and you notice how people speak, and you begin to develop your communication skills a little bit more. And so you notice you don't speak like you used to when you're back home and that kind of thing. But I understand now, being a good communicator, all of those parts of the way that I talk, that old country dialect, all of that is part of who I am. All of that's part of who God created me to be. And so I'm saying all of this to say, don't stray so far away from the foundational things that you come up with that you lose who you actually are at the core. That doesn't mean you haven't evolved or changed or grown over the years, but there are some foundational things at your core that were building blocks, that were foundational. Maybe you need to pull the carpet up, for lack of better words, and go and see what's really down there in your foundation, because these foundational parts and elements of your playing actually do create a better musician if you allow them to. So just some stuff I wanted to kind of bring out today. Not a really heavy lesson, just wanted to play a little bit and share a little bit of that stuff with you guys. If you want access to Hymns, Spiritual Songs, Volume 2, I will link that. Matter of fact, I'll put it below where you can go and get the jam pack. If you want the actual instructional, I will put that in the description below, as well as the jam pack, where you can get this today. You can start rocking out. And again, if you don't know this stuff is foreign to you, but you want to learn it, and these are just 2 tracks that I played today, but there are 4 more that I didn't play too. You can get this stuff and start adding it to your arsenal. Start adding it to, maybe you didn't grow up hearing this stuff. Maybe like this old school churchy stuff isn't familiar. But I will say this: if you begin to learn those hymns and that kind of stuff, it will serve you, especially in the gospel. When I say gospel, like black gospel church or whatever, when you start to play this stuff, you're starting to see how to connect the dots. I also have not only those hymns, congregational songs, to me, which will really give you a better grip on understanding walking bass and that kind of stuff. We do get into some walking bass a little bit with the hymns, both 1 and 2, but I really dig into it on the congregational songs, 1 and 2. So for anybody that's interested in that stuff, I just wanted to let you know, because you may not know that I had all this stuff available on JermaineMorgan.net. So anyway, I'll make that available. And if you like this video, if you enjoyed the fact that I went back and played a few of these old school joints, let me know below, because I want to know what your thoughts are, you guys who are joining in. And I appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with me. Let's keep growing, keep moving forward, and I will see y'all on the next video. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.